My biological parents are alive, yet I find myself devoid of a father and mother. At the tender age of 5, my biological parents, in their quest for a son, entrusted me to my uncle. From that day forth, my biological parents declared, "Do not call us mom and dad. Your uncle and aunt are your true parents." My aunt retorted, "You are not my flesh and blood, so why do you address me as such?" Thus, at the age of 5, I became a child without parents. 1. On the day of my 5th birthday, my biological parents received 500 yuan, intending to give me to a couple who had given birth to a mentally challenged son. Fortunately, my uncle rushed to my aid that very night, shielding me protectively. "I already have 2 boys. Let my 3rd sister be my daughter," he declared. At that time, I had not yet been given a proper name. Like the 3rd daughters of other families in the village, I was simply referred to as 3rd sister. Subsequently, my aunt often told me, "If it weren't for your uncle, you would have been betrothed to that family's foolish son. You must be filial to your uncle when you grow up. Do you understand?" My uncle asked the village elders to bestow upon me the name Song Luju. He hoped I would become a radiant pearl, but in truth, I was merely an ordinary pebble. My uncle was kind, yet he was also exceedingly busy. Each day, he would drive his tractor to various villages to thresh grains. He would leave around 5 or 6 in the morning, often returning home late at night, sometimes around 8 or 9. My aunt had a stern demeanor, always wearing a serious expression. My elder brother, at 13, was in his rebellious phase and largely ignored me. My second brother, 2 years my senior, would tug at my hair, pull my clothes, and even place dead mice in my bedding. I eagerly awaited rainy days, hoping my uncle would stay home. With him around, I felt a sense of belonging. Before long, my uncle enrolled me in preschool. My aunt's face was long and drawn as she lamented, "You can bring back a meal, but you also want to spend money on her education, as if you have an endless supply of cash." My uncle smiled apologetically. The village had said all children must attend school, otherwise, it's against the law. My aunt continued to complain. I fidgeted silently, wishing I could become deaf. My uncle spoke softly, "All right, let us not discuss these matters in front of Luju." My aunt shot me a harsh glare before retreating to the kitchen. Soon, the sounds of bang, bang, bang echoed from within. My uncle pulled me closer, speaking gently, "Your aunt has a fiery temper, but her heart is not unkind. Luju, you should be more considerate and help her with chores. She will come to appreciate you." After school, my second brother would play marbles with a group of friends while I dashed home to cut pig fodder. You might not know, but back then, water celery, which now sells for over 10 yuan a pound, grew abundantly along the field edges. The pigs had grown tired of it. After cutting the fodder, I would help prepare dinner and pick vegetables, waiting for my aunt to return and cook before we could eat. On weekends, I was also tasked with washing the family's clothes. The laundry bucket was taller than half my height. There was an unending amount of work in the fields, planting sweet potatoes, turning over sweet potato vines, sowing peanuts, harvesting peanuts, transplanting rice seedlings, weeding, applying pesticides, and double cropping. With my uncle often away, much of this labor fell upon my aunt. She would return home utterly exhausted, with my elder brother rebelling and my second brother causing mischief. In retrospect, her bad temper was entirely understandable. Children sleep deeply. Many times, by the time my uncle returned, I would already be asleep. Each morning upon waking, I would check under my pillow for treats, lollipops, huadang candies, and sour plum powder. These were the special indulgences from my uncle. On one such day, I found nothing beneath my pillow. Just as I felt a wave of disappointment, my aunt entered the room, her expression dark as she brandished a lollipop in her hand. Questioning, "Where did you get the money for this lollipop? Did you steal it?" 2. I pressed my lips together, remaining silent, which infuriated her further. Stealing needles as a child leads to stealing gold as an adult. I must give you a proper beating to make you remember this. She picked up a bamboo broom from the corner and struck me. At that moment, my elder brother, having finished his breakfast and preparing to leave for school, stood at the door, his voice filled with adolescent impatience. "Are you mute? That was given to you by Dad. Why aren't you saying anything?" That evening, I heard my aunt quietly sobbing. "After all these years with you, you've never bought me any sweets or fruits, yet you treat her so well." My uncle gently explained, "All the money I earn is in your hands. I never stop you from buying. But that is not the same. All right, Keep your voice down. We don't want the children to hear this nonsense. The neighboring sounds quieted, and my uncle gently pushed open my door. I choked back tears, saying, "Uncle, please don't buy me snacks anymore." He adjusted my mosquito net, saying, "Adult quarrels have nothing to do with you. Just sleep." From then on, my uncle brought home double portions of snacks, one for me, one for my aunt. My second brother would shout, "I want some too." My uncle would slap him lightly. "What would a boy like you want with snacks?" My aunt would sarcastically remark, "Thanks to my niece, otherwise, how would I have this treatment?" Yet, when she clutched a lollipop among the other women, her demeanor transformed. She smiled broadly, saying, "My new city still treats me like a little sister, buying me candy every day. Don't you think he is wasting money?" More than a year later, my biological mother finally had a son. My uncle and aunt took me to celebrate the full moon. My biological mother's home had been nearly emptied by family planning officials. They had borrowed chairs from the neighbors. Yet, her face was radiant. "At last, I have a son. Let us see who dares to gossip behind my back now." My cousin was named Zhang Wei. He was dark and chubby, with a face full of fuzz, resembling a little monkey. I couldn't understand why he was considered cute. Instinctively, I called out Mom. My biological mother's smile immediately froze. "Don't call me that. Your uncle and aunt are your parents now, do you understand?" My aunt, with a forced smile, added, "She didn't come out of my womb. So don't call me Mom." So, who exactly were my real parents? Finally, my uncle patted my back. "Go play with your sisters." The guests were served sweet wine and eggs, each bowl containing 2 eggs. My bowl, however, held only thin syrup. Just like countless times before, my biological mother said, "There aren't enough eggs at home, and besides, too many eggs aren't good for children. The fire in the kitchen is about to go out. Hurry and help stoke it." 3. At that moment, I felt something was amiss, yet I could not articulate it. As a small child, I didn't know how to resist such parental authority. Later, my aunt came into the kitchen, finding me drenched in sweat from the heat. She seized me by the ear. "I bought you a new dress, and you come here playing with fire. You can't even behave when visiting." Her voice was loud, soon attracting my biological mother. Embarrassed, she said, "I asked third sister to tend the fire." My aunt released me, her expression neutral. "Oh, well then, she is your daughter. You might as well keep her here to help with the fire." My biological mother's face changed slightly, and she quickly replied, "I just wanted her to lend a hand. She has already been given to you. How can I take her back?" The 2 women exchanged words, treating me like an object to be passed back and forth. Finally, my biological father arrived. His face long, he said, "If my sister-in-law doesn't want her, I'll send her to Zhang Mozi's house." I could still collect 500 yuan, just enough to buy milk powder for little Wei. On the way back, my aunt kept talking about me. She is still blood-related. Even without eggs, she is willing to work for them. What good is it to be obedient? They still treat you like garbage. 3 daughters, yet they don't want you. I sat on the front rack of the bicycle, the summer wind whipping into my eyes, making them feel sore and dry. From that day on, I had my uncle and aunt, my aunts and uncles. Yet I was left without a father or mother. My aunt was generally fine, but her temper flared especially around the start of school. By then, compulsory education had been established, yet attending school still required fees. For rural parents, sending 3 children to school was a substantial burden. My uncle would spend time persuading her to allow me to continue my education. Each summer, my biological parents would invite me to stay for a while. I wished to decline, yet my uncle would say, "After all, they're your parents, and they only call you back because they care." In my biological parents' home, there exists merely a single 3-blade ceiling fan, and during the sweltering summer heat, the entire family sprawls on bamboo mats laid across the concrete floor to sleep. I find myself in the outermost corner, barely feeling a breeze, only inhaling the pervasive stench of sweat that pervades the room. They do not genuinely desire my presence. It is merely that during the busy summer harvest, they summon me back to lend a hand. Yet, to the outside world, they must maintain appearances. San Mei is a guest. We cannot let her toil in the fields. Indeed, I am spared from harvesting rice in the fields, but I am still tasked with washing clothes, cooking meals, feeding pigs, and drying grains at home. Once the harvest is over, they hastily send me back, saying, "You cannot stay too long, or else your parents will feel neglected." Each time I return, my aunt subjects me to her sarcastic remarks for at least half a month. Time swiftly passes, and during the summer break of my fourth grade, my eldest brother graduates from vocational school and begins working in a factory. The rice in the fields has turned a golden yellow, with heavy heads bowing down. Early one morning, my biological mother arrives on her bicycle. San Mei is on summer break. I am taking her to my place for a few days of fun. My aunt remains silent with a sullen expression, while my uncle chuckles, "Lu Zhu, go and pack a few clothes." My biological mother cheerfully responds, "There's no need to pack. Her two sisters of clothes." Seizing the moment when my uncle and aunt are absent, my biological mother takes my hand and whispers, "If you stay with your uncle, they won't let you work in the fields. Come back with me. You won't have to endure the sun." My aunt emerges from the kitchen with a glass of iced tea and witnesses this scene. I wrench my hand from my mother's grip and declare loudly, "I don't want to go. My brother is working now, and there aren't enough hands at home. I need to stay and help." "You child, how ungrateful you are," my mother exclaims, clutching me tightly. "How could I ever harm you?" My aunt strides forward and pulls me away, asserting, "If Lu Zhu doesn't want to go, don't force her. She can visit during the winter break." That summer, I assisted my aunt in harvesting rice. The villagers teased, "Oh, it's the first time I've seen Lu Zhu in the fields," my aunt boisterously proclaimed, after raising her for several years. "It's only right that she helps out." From that point onward, I never returned to my biological parents' home during summer vacation. Despite my aunt's lack of warmth towards me, she ensured I received a new outfit each new year, unlike my biological parents, who for 5 years only provided me with hand-me-downs from my two sisters. My undergarments bore several holes, and they never replaced them with new ones. I could discern who was good and who was bad. The year I graduated from elementary school, my second brother was accepted into a prestigious high school. My eldest brother brought back 2,000 yuan, claiming it was for my second brother's tuition. He worked hard in the factory, and his salary was modest. 2,000 yuan was no small sum. That year, he turned 20, and my aunt grew anxious to marry him off. My eldest brother consistently insisted there was no rush. Late at night, my aunt confided to my uncle, "We have nothing at home, and with two still in school, which girl would look our way? Is he destined to remain a bachelor forever?" My uncle comforted her, "He is still young. I was 23 when I married you." Young? His classmates already have 2 children. My second brother attended a boarding high school. As he matured, he became more composed. During that time, the non-mainstream fashion was in vogue. Every day after school, there was a group of boys and girls with dyed yellow hair, adorned with piercings, loitering at the school gate. I typically avoided them. However, on the last day before the National Day holiday, I lingered late while cleaning, and the leading girl blocked my path. Chewing gum, she tugged at my hair and demanded, "Got any money?" I shook my head vigorously. "Then let us cut off your braid. It could fetch some cash." She dragged me toward a nearby hair salon when, just then, a loud voice rang out. "What are you doing?" My second brother rode in on his bicycle, arriving like the wind, skidding to a halt before me. Mud flew up in a cloud of dust. He looked fierce. "Let go of my sister." On the way home, he lectured me. "You should have fought back. Shout, kick, hit. Don't let them bully you." Midway through his reprimand, he sighed. "Forget it. Don't resist. Your braid will grow back. Your well-being is more important." The next day, he took me to meet one of his junior high classmates, a chubby, tattooed youth with yellow hair who often hung around our school. From that day forth, even if I walked past them, no one dared to stop me. By the time I reached the 3rd year of junior high, the women began to gossip about me. "Lu Zhu is about to graduate from junior high, isn't she? Your uncle and aunt have raised her for years. She should be grateful." They would also speak to my aunt, saying, "Lu Zhu is beautiful and well-behaved. Next year she can earn money, and then your eldest brother's bride price will be covered." My aunt would proudly declare, "I have never treated her poorly. She owes us her filial piety." During my elementary school years, my uncle's rice milling business thrived. However, now many villagers possess electric rice mills, and they transport their rice with tricycles for milling at their convenience and at lower costs. My uncle's milling machine has aged and frequently breaks down, resulting in dwindling business. My second brother is now in his senior year of high school with commendable grades, likely to gain admission to a reputable university. My uncle, while pleased, also frets over his tuition and living expenses. I pondered. I would probably end up like my biological mother's two daughters, entering a factory after junior high. Then, a year or two later, I would seek a husband who could provide a substantial bride price and settle down to start a family. This thought weighed heavily on me, causing my midterm exam results to plummet. Upon receiving my report card, my uncle slammed his hand on the table. Is this how you study? You've dropped over 20 places. At this rate, you won't even qualify for the prestigious high school. Back then, gaining admission to a top high school from a rural junior high was not a matter of mere desire. The number of slots was determined by previous admissions, typically around 30. Regardless, I'll have to work after junior high. My uncle's eyes widened. You listen to those gossiping women. As long as you can get into the top high school, I'll sell everything I own to send you. I cast a glance at my aunt. She retorted, "What are you looking at? Your uncle is in charge here." This was her tacit approval. Tears welled up in my eyes as I choked out, "I will study hard." After that day, I dedicated myself to my studies with unwavering resolve. My grades swiftly improved. My aunt, meanwhile, no longer compelled me to do chores. She grumbled, "If your uncle finds out I'm making you work, he'll scold me. I'm not raising a niece, I'm raising a princess." After my second brother completed his college entrance examinations and achieved commendable scores, he was admitted to a prestigious university within the province. My aunt was elated, her face beaming with joy. I, too, successfully secured my examination qualifications. To attend the top high school, we had to travel to the county seat, where teachers would lead us to stay in a hotel, incurring costs for meals and lodging. The hotel we booked appeared to have been vacant for ages, with blankets that reeked of mildew. That night, I could hear rats scurrying on the ceiling, and I barely slept a wink. After the exams, upon returning to the village, my complexion was ashen. My aunt clucked, "You look like you failed." Several classmates invited me to work in Guangdong, and well-meaning aunts even tried to introduce me to prospective suitors. My uncle advised waiting until the results were out. Soon my 16th birthday arrived, and on that day, my biological mother paid a visit. She brought along a small cake from town. I had thought she might be feeling guilty and attempting to make amends. However, after the meal, she revealed her true intentions. "San Mei has graduated from junior high and turned 16. I have found her a good match." The man was 25, had previously been in a car accident and walked with a slight limp, but could offer a bride price of 150,000 yuan. In 2007, in a small village, 150,000 is no trifling sum. My biological mother, brimming with excitement, declared, "This money will be split between us. With it, we can cover all your university tuition and living expenses." She added, "Anyway, our younger sister won't be able to get into high school, and it could take her years to earn that much working." She spoke these words in my presence, treating me as a mere commodity of value, much like she had years ago. My face flushed with indignation. Yet, my mother continued, her spirit soaring, "Sister, although that man has a slight limp, he possesses excellent prospects. After the accident, he received a substantial compensation. Marrying him would ensure a comfortable life. I bore you, after all. I must consider your future." Clenching my teeth, I retorted, "I will get in." My mother scoffed. "Oh, let us not kid ourselves. You were so foolish as a child, you couldn't even count to 20. It would be a miracle if you managed to get into the first high school. You're the one who birthed me. Do you really think I'm that incompetent?" I had indeed been naive, foolishly believing that her conscience would trouble her for sending me away. Tears streamed down my cheeks as I shouted, "If I can't get into the first high school, I'll work instead. I refuse to marry. You abandoned me at 5. I will earn money for my uncle and aunt, not you." Just as my emotions erupted, the home phone rang. It was my homeroom teacher, Song Luzhu. "The high school entrance exam results are out." He paused. My heart raced. Then I heard him say, "You've been accepted. Our school has 10 entrants. And you are the second highest." Sweat broke out on my forehead, and as I wiped it away, I realized I was crying. My uncle snatched the phone, asking for confirmation. Upon learning the results, he nodded repeatedly, "Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks to the teacher's guidance. Thank you." My aunt, having approached unnoticed, pressed her ear against the receiver and then shot me a glance. "You returned with such a pale face. I thought there was no hope." My biological mother wore a stunned expression, murmuring, "How could someone who couldn't count from 1 to 20 get into the first high school?" Her eyes darted as she exclaimed, "With 1 high school student and 1 college student, How can you support them? Perhaps it's better for her to marry into a good family. My second brother, who had been sleeping in the next room and had always held disdain for our mother, suddenly burst through the door. She is now my sister. Whether she marries or studies is none of your concern. I can take a loan for tuition, and I can earn my own living expenses. There's no need for her to sacrifice. Do you have any idea how difficult it is to get into the first high school? Luju has endured so much hardship to achieve this. How can you just dismiss her efforts? My uncle feigned reprimand. Liu Guang, how can you speak to your aunt like that? It's disrespectful. Such was the nature of family relations. Constant friction, yet rarely overtly confrontational. My mother's face shifted between red and pale. I took a deep breath and said slowly, "Aunt, even if I were to marry and receive a bride price, that money would go to uncle and aunt. As you have already sent me away, you cannot sell me again." Infuriated, my mother stormed off, cursing me as an ungrateful wretch. She even claimed that my uncle and aunt were foolish for spending money on my education. That night, my aunt killed a laying hen and served me a large drumstick. "Eat up. Remember, the bride price will be mine." The village women also advised my uncle and aunt, sending a son to university costs so much. Why bother raising another's daughter? Don't end up empty-handed. Not even their own daughters are sent to study. Why is a niece so valued? The admission letter included a fee list. At the start of the semester, tuition, accommodation, and miscellaneous fees totaled 1,800. My aunt's face darkened like the bottom of a pot. Where am I supposed to get this money? You will hand over your entire salary once you start working. Understood? The tuition for my second brother could be loaned, but living expenses still needed to be prepared. In times of poverty, even a penny is a burden to the bravest of heroes. My uncle scoured for funds, and someone suggested, "Ask your eldest son for a bit." My uncle chuckled awkwardly. It's a parent's duty to support their children's education. It's not the responsibility of the eldest son. We are already remiss for not being able to support him in marrying or building a home. My second brother took a tutoring job in the county while also working part-time in an internet cafe, sleeping on the cafe's sofa at night to save on rent. I too wanted to contribute. Coincidentally, a hair collector came to the village that day. My hair, thick and long, had been growing for 5 years, reaching almost to my waist. After some haggling, I sold it for 80 yuan. I ran home, sweating, just as my aunt returned from the fields. I handed her the money. "Aunt, I sold my hair for 80 yuan. My aunt wiped her hands and ruffled the back of my head. "Who on earth would cut your hair so short?" "It's fine, aunt. It will grow back." "And didn't you always say my long hair sheds everywhere? I'll take you to the barber to tidy it up. It looks terrible." "No need, aunt. Just give me some scissors to trim it myself. Don't waste 5 yuan. That evening, the sky was painted with red clouds. My aunt borrowed new scissors and began to trim my hair while chiding me. She scolded the hair collector for being unscrupulous and called me a fool for allowing someone to cut my hair so haphazardly. As she scolded, her voice softened. "From now on, you should keep your hair long. A delicate girl like you looks better with long hair. We don't lack this 80 or 100. When my second brother returned and saw my long braid gone, he was furious. "You might as well get a buzz cut from behind. Your hairstyle is indistinguishable from a boy's." My biological mother, upon hearing, also scolded me for being foolish. "Your hair was so long and thick. You could have sold it for at least 150 yuan. Throughout my 3 years in high school, I never grew my hair long again. Short hair was simply more manageable, saving both time and effort. Later, my eldest brother sent back 1,000 yuan, alleviating our immediate financial distress. It was only upon entering high school that I realized how different people can be. Many classmates attended tutoring classes during the summer and had already covered high school material. They easily kept pace with the teachers, while I felt like an aging ox, struggling to keep up. Teachers tended to cater to the top students, often neglecting whether we slower learners understood the material. After a month, my self-confidence had nearly crumbled. One evening, my second brother returned. Seizing the opportunity, I asked him questions, but my mood sank as I realized the mountain of material I had to learn was insurmountable. He put down his pen. "Luju, when I first entered high school, I felt just like you, dumb and overwhelmed by the disparity. I wanted to excel in everything, to prove myself. Eventually, I learned that studying requires prioritization and sacrifice." He explained that in the second year, the curriculum would split into science and humanities tracks. Students studying science would not engage with humanities subjects, only needing to pass the unified exam. Therefore, I could make a choice now, setting a foundation ahead of time. Science is relatively better for employment, while humanities involve more memorization, making it more suitable for girls. You decide. That night, the stars glittered in the sky. My second brother spoke of his past with a light touch. Yet, I knew that when he faced those towering mountains alone, it must have been fraught with difficulties.
Now,
With his guidance, he returned to illuminate my path, hoping to spare me from detours. I resolved to forgive him for the time he had placed a dead mouse in my bed as a child. I wanted a stable job. I wanted to earn more. Thus, I chose the science track, abandoning history, politics, and geography. With fewer subjects, my focus sharpened, making my studies less burdensome, and I could distinctly feel my progress. However, during the midterm exams, I ranked in the 40s of my class, as the poor performance in the humanities dragged down my overall score. Upon learning of my academic performance, my biological mother clucked her tongue and remarked, "I always said she isn't cut out for studying. With these grades, she'll be lucky to secure a place in a third-tier university." The villagers chimed in, saying, "The Song family must have money to burn." They also noted, "Lukai still isn't married. They don't seem to be in any hurry." But how could they not be? My aunt was nearly beside herself with worry. After pondering the situation, she concluded that our family's financial struggles were to blame. Following the winter break of my first year in high school, my uncle also began working alongside the contractor. Laboring under the sun and rain at the construction site proved grueling, with little respite. Yet he earned around 3,000 yuan a month, substantially more than what he made from farming. My aunt took to cooking for the workers at the site. In addition to her wages, she managed to scavenge some scrap metal, bringing her income close to 2,000 yuan. She increased my living allowance to 300 yuan, saying, "Your second brother only gave me 250 back then. Once you start working, you must repay me fivefold. Do you understand?" I nodded in understanding. After years of interaction, I had come to grasp her temperament, sharp-tongued yet tender-hearted. During the winter break of my second year, my elder brother finally brought home a girlfriend. My aunt was overjoyed and began making wedding plans. However, the girl demanded a dowry of 100,000 yuan and insisted on a house in the county seat, far beyond what my uncle and aunt could afford. My uncle sat beneath the eaves, smoking a whole pack of cigarettes, as snow fell relentlessly. The snowflakes, so weightless, seemed to bear down upon him like lead, bending his spine. My biological mother had more to say. "If you had listened to me and not sent Luju to school, she could have married by now and you'd have a daughter-in-law." She even suggested to my brother, "Just get her pregnant. Once she has a child, she won't require a penny, and she'll marry you." In those times, many men in the village married under similar circumstances. My usually mild-mannered uncle finally lost his temper. "Shut your mouth. From now on, stay out of my family affairs." My biological mother left in a huff, muttering, "I was only looking out for you. You don't recognize good intentions." Ultimately, that marriage proposal fell through. My brother became despondent and quit his job. My aunt was heartbroken. With strands of her hair turning white, "He's nearly 26. Is he destined to be a lifelong bachelor?" After quitting, my brother connected to the internet and purchased a second-hand computer. The gossip in the village nearly buried us. They claimed my uncle and aunt had become blinded by sentiment, raising an unambitious niece while sacrificing their son. They also lamented that my brother had become utterly useless, spending his days cooped up at home playing on the computer. My aunt sought out matches for my brother from near and far, but as soon as potential suitors heard about our family situation, they all turned him down. Fearing her son might take drastic measures, my aunt stopped him from working at the construction site. By day, my brother slept endlessly. By night, he pounded away at the keyboard. Unable to bear it any longer, my aunt advised him, "There will be other girls. You need to pull yourself together and stop playing on the computer." "I'm not just playing. I'm writing novels to make money," he insisted. He believed that working on an assembly line would lead to no future, and he wanted to create something of value. My aunt was skeptical. I was curious to see what my brother was writing. He refused, saying, "It's not something for you to read." I was somewhat doubtful. It wasn't until much later that I learned the internet was less regulated back then, and that my brother was writing risque novels. As the New Year's festivities faded away, another year approached. I had only 6 months left before the college entrance examination. After the second-year class division, I was placed in the elite science class. After shedding my underperforming subjects, my ranking soared. During the division of arts and sciences, I ranked 98th in my grade. In the first semester's final exams of my second year, I ranked 76th. By the end of that semester, I had climbed to 62nd. By the first semester of my third year, I reached 55th in the grade. The ascent grew increasingly challenging. Maintaining my current position required tremendous effort, while striving for further advancement felt like a struggle against countless constraints. I often felt that I could no longer improve. At the New Year's dinner table, my second brother comforted me. Keep a level head. If you can maintain this score, getting into a low-tier 985 university is entirely feasible. That's already quite impressive. Sometimes, what crushes us is not the external burdens, but the heavy straw we carry in our hearts. That evening, my brother, who spent all his time on the computer, insisted on giving me 500 yuan as New Year's money. Luju, take this and buy some candy. In truth, I had long since lost my taste for sweets. My brother and I were 8 years apart, and we hadn't spent much time together growing up. Perhaps, in his memory, I remained that little girl who would sneak away to enjoy the snacks my uncle had bought. My aunt told everyone that my brother could earn money by writing novels on the computer, but no one believed her. I've never heard of anyone making money playing on a computer. Indeed, at least he's a vocational school graduate. My son only finished middle school and now earns over 2,000 a month. It seems Lukai is a lost cause. He'll likely become an unwanted old bachelor. During the second day of the new year, my biological mother returned to her family home, as per tradition. She discreetly pulled me aside and slipped me 100 yuan. This is your New Year's money. Save it well. And don't let your uncle and aunt find out. Use it to buy a few nice clothes and some treats. I tossed it back at her. I don't want it. Besides, 100 yuan one tea buy all those things. My biological mother's face turned awkward. Later, I overheard my biological father ask her, "Why are you giving your New Year's money to that useless girl?" My biological mother replied, "What do you know? If she gets into a good university, establishing a relationship now means she might help Xiaowei when she earns money later." Can you believe that? On the 6th day of the new year, I returned to school, and the pressure of studying intensified. Looking back on those 100 days, it felt like a fleeting moment. Yet, while immersed in it, time seemed interminably long. Those seemingly endless exam papers gave me the illusion that the college entrance examination would never arrive. Yet it did. Although it was still June, the weather was unseasonably hot. The cicadas buzzed incessantly in the treetops outside the examination hall. I recalled the year I was 4 when my elder sister took me to collect cicada shells. These could be used in medicine and exchanged for money. While gathering them, we became separated. As night fell, the forest grew dim. I cried out while searching for my way home. I stumbled countless times before finally emerging from the dense woods. I stumbled into the village, catching sight of my home from a distance. The living room light was on, and my biological parents and 2 sisters were having dinner. Each occupied one side of the table, the scene harmonious and full. It felt as if I were a figment of imagination, a presence that never truly existed. Fate had dozed off, placing me in the wrong family, with the wrong relatives. Thankfully, after a brief slumber, it corrected its mistake, returning me to my uncle's home. My uncle, aunt, and 2 brothers were my destined family. For their sake, I had to achieve excellent results. During the exam days, I felt as though I was a reservoir filled to the brim, pouring out all at once. Once the 4 tests concluded, I felt utterly drained, as if my very soul floated aimlessly. I stepped out of the examination hall in a daze when I heard a familiar call. Luju. I looked up and spotted my aunt among the hundreds of waiting parents. The setting sun cast a golden hue upon her graying hair. Beads of sweat adorned her forehead as she raised her arm to wave at me. In that moment, my drifting soul anchored itself to reality. It turned out there was an invisible thread connecting me to her. Regardless of how far apart we might be, there remained a bond to cherish. My aunt rode her motorcycle back to the village with me, chattering on, "Your uncle and I have endured much gossip and hardship to support your education. If you're ungrateful in the future, you'll face divine retribution, understand?" As the sun set, its radiant light enveloped us. I wrapped my arms around my aunt's waist, gently pressing my face against her back, softly replying, "Understood." My aunt fell silent. Only the summer breeze lingered, carrying the scent of detergent from her clothes. On the day the results were announced, My uncle took a leave of absence to return to the village, and my aunt rose early. From just past 5 in the morning until noon, she scarcely paused for a moment. Her words tumbled out in a constant stream, repeating the same phrases over and over again. At last, the time arrived. My elder brother opened the results website. As he entered the identification information, the seconds that followed felt like an eternity, the room silent with anticipation. Chinese language, 125, mathematics, 123, English, 139, comprehensive science, 251. Total score, 638. That year, the cutoff for the science stream at a first-tier university was 567. My performance was consistent with my usual results, a steady showing. At that moment, my aunt's eyes glistened with tears. Let me see which of those ignorant women in the village can claim their daughters have achieved as much as my niece. That afternoon, she donned a straw hat and dashed around the village, lamenting to anyone she encountered. Lu Zhu scored 638, and now we must support her through university. How tiresome. Following the suggestions of my homeroom teacher and my second brother, I applied to the 985 university next door to my second brother's. My aunt insisted on throwing a celebration feast for my academic advancement. She beamed, "Those people throw a banquet for every trivial matter. Surely, we must celebrate such a grand occasion in our family. Make sure to tell everyone that you will be dutiful to your uncle and me," driving those gossiping women mad. The banquet featured 12 tables. The aunts and matrons of the village, their attitudes transformed, could not help but express their envy. "You have not raised your niece in vain. You too have produced 2 university students. Truly impressive. Lu Zhu is clearly intelligent. I always said she would succeed. Once they graduate, your lives will be so much easier. Your uncle and aunt are like your biological parents. You must be filial to them." The atmosphere was lively, and my biological mother, having consumed a few beers, grasped my hand tightly. Her eyes were red, filled with affection. "Sanmei, I am so happy you got into university. You have inherited my intelligence. I always knew you would excel." She caressed my hand. "I had to leave you with your uncle when I gave birth to your brother. I have always thought of you. I wanted to bring you back home, but feared it would affect your studies. You are my daughter, and we must be together as a family. Today, express your gratitude to your uncle and aunt for all these years of care. And then you can return home with me." She tugged at my cousin, who was indulging in food nearby. "Xiao Wei, hurry and call your sister to come home." Zhang Wei glanced at me. "It's not like you got into Tsinghua or Peking University. It's not that impressive." My eldest sister, carrying her 2 daughters and her own pregnancy, also joined us. "Sanmei, they are your biological parents. As their child, you cannot hold grudges. We should all be a united family." My head buzzed with anger. I knew they had low standards, but I never expected their shamelessness to reach such heights. Even more ludicrous was the chorus of agreement. "Raising you is a kindness, and giving birth is also a kindness. You are a university student now, destined for greatness. Both sets of parents deserve your respect." My biological mother's smile was a mask for her disdain. "Of course, remember your uncle and aunt's kindness. But if I hadn't given birth to you, you wouldn't be where you are today. Most importantly, remember your father and me." She reached out to pull me close. "We are the true family." I forcefully shook her off. "Auntie, uncle, I remember when you sent me away. You said you would no longer be my parents. All these years, you never inquired about my studies. You never contributed a single cent towards my tuition, nor did you buy me even a pair of socks or a piece of clothing. When I graduated from middle school, you even considered selling me for a bride price. For over a decade, it has been my uncle and aunt who have raised and educated me." As I spoke, my voice trembled. During my 3 years of high school, my aunt never bought a single new piece of clothing. Now that I have been accepted into university, you come to acknowledge me? What are your intentions? Do you think I am oblivious? I raised my voice. "You think that if you treat me well now, when I graduate and earn money, I will support you and your son, don't you? Dream on. What a delusion. I will not give you a single cent." My biological father, infuriated, raised his hand as if to strike me. "You little bastard, I am your real father."
"Who taught you to speak to me like that?"
My uncle and aunt, along with my second brother, stepped in to restrain him. My usually taciturn elder brother pulled me behind him protectively. My biological mother, suppressing her displeasure, forced a smile. "Xiao Wei is your biological brother. It's only right that you help him." Your mother had no choice back then. I apologize now, okay?
With that,
She even bent her knee as if to kneel. If she were to kneel today, my reputation would be irreparably tarnished. And the villagers would certainly moralize me into acknowledging my roots. I would never be able to escape this loathsome family. My eyes burned with fury, wishing I could sever ties with this vile woman. Just then, my aunt charged forward, grabbing my mother's hair, and they tumbled together. Song Chunhua, spare me your theatrics. For Lu Zhu's sake, I have endured until now, but your shamelessness is too much. You treat my brother and me as fools, having raised your daughter with great difficulty, only to want to reclaim her now that she has reaped the benefits?
dream on.
All of Lu Zhu's bride price should go to me. Her earnings are mine too. I have raised her for over a decade. This is what I am owed. If you want to take her back, you can, but first, give me 100,000, and I will return her to you. The onlookers finally grasped the situation and hurried to separate the two. My aunt collapsed to the ground, weeping uncontrollably. Why is my life so hard? I have worked tirelessly since marrying into the Song family, suffering under the old lady's tyranny. And now my sister-in-law is scheming against me. She cried about the sacrifices she made for me over the years. When I was 7 and suffered a high fever, she ran barefoot for 5 miles in the dead of winter to find the village doctor. When I was 10 during a torrential rainstorm, she came to fetch me from school, and on the way back, the water rose. She carried me on her back, almost swept away by the flood. The scar from a branch that scraped her leg still remains. During my middle school years, she single-handedly tended to over 10 acres of land just to earn a little extra to supplement my tuition. In high school, under the blazing noon sun, she donned a straw hat to scavenge for nails and sell scrap for money. I raised you with all my heart. How can you say you will take her away?
What is left for me in this life? I might as well die.
The crowd gasped in shock. My face turned pale. As they comforted my aunt, they simultaneously berated my biological mother. You heartless woman. Do you want to drive your sister-in-law to her grave? For over a decade, you have shown no care for Lu Zhu. By what right do you think you can take her back? If you truly cared for her, you had countless opportunities to bring her home all these years. My biological mother remained defiant. She is my flesh and blood. How could I not care? Nonsense. It was my uncle, his face flushed with anger. You care for her? Or do you care for the money she'll earn in the future? You know in your heart, if you continue with this scheme, this will no longer be your family. My biological mother's expression froze as she looked incredulously at my uncle. My uncle, who had always been patient with her, was now visibly agitated. My biological mother licked her lips, placing the last flicker of hope upon me. Third sister, I acknowledge my past mistakes. My desire to have you return is also to alleviate your uncle's burden. Your father and I will cover your university tuition, while your elder brother does not earn from his computer gaming, and your second brother still has to prepare for his postgraduate entrance exams. Your uncle and aunt are shouldering a hefty load. I scoffed. What about the tuition fees? My mother hesitated. Can't tuition be financed through loans?
You see,
she had meticulously calculated every aspect. A meager monthly allowance could essentially trade for a daughter who would toil for the rest of her life as a university student. What a bargain. My elder brother furrowed his brow. Who says I'm not earning? Just wait a moment. He then retrieved a backpack from his room, pulling out 5 neatly stacked piles of 100 yuan bills, casually tossing them onto the round table covered with a red disposable plastic tablecloth. Coolly, he proclaimed Liu Guang. Feel free to pursue your postgraduate studies. Lu Zhu, I will take responsibility for your tuition and living expenses. 50,000 yuan is no trifling sum. A profound silence enveloped the room. My mother gazed at the table full of red bills, swallowing hard. My aunt picked up the money, inspecting its authenticity, and asked in bewilderment, "Where did you get so much money?" My brother shrugged. I told you before, I make money writing novels. He had previously contributed to the household expenses, but my aunt believed he was merely putting on a facade, thinking he was spending savings from his factory job. Tears streamed down my aunt's face. All right, your younger sibling's education is none of your concern. I'll save this money for you, so you can buy a house and marry. She collected the money, and my mother's eyes followed the bills hungrily. My aunt retreated into the inner room, and my mother followed her, forcing a smile. Sister-in-law, I intend to build a house for Xiaowei. My aunt halted, shooting her a cold glance. Who is your sister-in-law? I have no shameless sister like you. This money is Liozai's dowry. No one is to pry a single cent from me. Estimating that my aunt had secured the money, I pushed the door open. She was combing her hair while dabbing at her tears. Standing at the doorway, I wrung my hands. I'm sorry, Aunt. Though she often raised her voice and had a fiery temper, she was, in truth, a person who valued her pride. She never complained to others, nor did she throw tantrums. Her earlier behavior had been a humbling moment. Turning her back to me, she tied her hair with an elastic band, and when she turned back, there were no traces of tears on her face. She scolded me sternly. To deal with someone like your aunt, you must fight fire with fire. Reasoning with her is futile. I've raised you for so many years. If you soften your heart and help her raise her son, I'll slap you dead. Do you understand? Tears streamed down my face uncontrollably. I understand. Why are you crying? It's a day of celebration. She used her sleeve to wipe my tears, and as she did, her own eyes turned red as well. No need to cry. Our Song family will have good days ahead. They will all be envious. She gently patted my head. The college entrance exams are over. Let your hair grow out. A young lady looks better with long hair. My aunt locked the door twice and led me back to the gathering. My brother was already surrounded by women. How do you earn money playing computer games? How much do you make in a month? My son just graduated from middle school. Can he earn that much? Lukai, we have a niece in our family, 22 years old, a college graduate, very beautiful. I can introduce her to you. I have a niece too, 20 years old, a kindergarten teacher, with excellent prospects. A 175 centimeters tall, 130 man, appeared small and helpless amidst a crowd of women. The ladies were clamoring to promote their distant relatives. At that moment, my brother adjusted his glasses and quietly said, Actually, I already have a girlfriend.
What?
My aunt exclaimed. My brother's girlfriend was someone he had met in a writers' group. She was an amateur author and was about to enter her final year of university. My aunt expressed her doubt. You haven't been fooled, have you? Did she ask you to buy her tea leaves? Previously, a boy from our village had purchased over 100 jin of tea leaves for his online girlfriend, spending 50 to 60,000 yuan, only to break up later. Hence, the villagers knew well that girlfriends who sold tea leaves were not to be trusted.
No.
We've seen each other on video and met in person. I even have her photo. He pulled out an identification photo from his wallet. The girl appeared clean and cheerful, her dimples showing when she smiled, her eyes sparkling. The women felt a sense of loss, as if they had missed out on a fortune. Yet, not long ago, they had looked down upon my brother, deeming him a lazy individual who didn't earn a living. It would be much later that I discovered a term that aptly described my brother, social anxiety. He seemed cool and spoke little, but this was merely due to his discomfort and disinterest in social interactions. More often than not, he immersed himself in his own fictional universe. During my university years, I inadvertently learned about my brother's pseudonym. He was a rural literature writer with a considerable following, penning stories about rural doctors and fortune tellers. His work was quite popular, which explained his financial success. As the banquet concluded, my biological mother pretended to be sincere. Third sister, do not misunderstand your mother. I still care for you. My biological father ground his teeth in anger. Ungrateful wretch. You should have been drowned in the cesspool back then. I smiled faintly. Unfortunately for you, I survived, and I am thriving. My future will only get better, and it has nothing to do with you. My biological father nearly choked on his rage. My elder sister disapproved. Father and mother also have their difficulties. You should try to understand them. I asked her, isn't the policy now allowing for a third child? She sighed softly. They always want a son. Otherwise, how can your brother-in-law and his parents explain it? My two nieces, dressed in tattered clothes, looked at me timidly. The elder daughter was about the same age I had been back then. I asked my sister, when I was 4, you took me to the mountains to collect cicada shells, and when we got separated, I didn't return home. Why didn't you come looking for me? My sister's mouth hung open. Did that really happen? I don't remember. You see, they inflicted upon you profound pain and lifelong fears, yet they casually dismiss it with, I don't remember. But I remember, I whispered, if I had stayed with the Zhang family, I might have perished in the mountains at 4, died from a high fever at 7, or succumbed to a torrential rain at 10. But I certainly could not stand here as a university student. Sister, don't deceive yourself. Do you truly not know whether they love us daughters or not? Perhaps as the eldest daughter, my sister had received love. But as the third daughter, I truly had never been loved. When my sister left, her expression was not pleasant. Although my brother offered to help with my tuition, I still opted for a loan. He then bought me a smartphone as a reward. The school was located in the provincial capital, just a 2-hour bus ride away. However, my uncle and aunt insisted on escorting me. My second brother rolled his eyes. When I went to register, none of you came to see me off. I went by myself. My uncle slapped him on the back. You're a boy. Why should we see you off? Your sister is a girl. Can she be treated the same way as you? In truth, there was another term that suited my uncle, a daughter slave. He lacked patience with his 2 elder brothers but always spoke to me gently. 2 days before departure, my aunt bought hair dye. Luju helped me dye my hair. Look at how much gray I have compared to black. The dye had a pungent smell. As I mixed it, I softly said, "No need to dye. Aunt, you look wonderful just as you are." Auntie gazed into the mirror, reflecting, of course, in my youth, I was the belle of the village. But in a few days, I shall take you to school to have your hair dyed. We must not allow your white locks to be outshone by other parents, lest you feel embarrassed. How could that be, Auntie? You are the finest guardian in the world. You are the most exemplary mother one could wish for. After the dyeing, there remained some dye. And just then Uncle returned. He patted his head and said, "Let us not waste it. Dye my hair as well." Second brother leaned against the doorframe, rolling his eyes with a hint of sarcasm. Look at this couple, all dressed up. The dormitory housed 6 individuals. Annie chose a spot for me towards the interior. The bed by the window will be cold in winter, and the one by the door is prone to drafts. You might have to rise at midnight to let others in. This bed is the best. Uncle went to purchase daily necessities while Auntie made my bed. The lady in the adjacent bunk remarked, "Your daughter resembles her father. She doesn't quite take after you." Annie paused in her task, responding, "She is my niece. And as her aunt, it is only natural she doesn't resemble me." The lady appeared taken aback, seemingly curious as to why it was my uncle and aunt who brought me, yet she refrained from asking. I approached to assist Auntie with a corner of the blanket, clearly stating I was raised by my uncle and aunt. They are as close to me as my own parents. In that moment, Auntie's hand gripping the blanket trembled slightly. After several seconds, she nodded emphatically. Indeed, while Lu Zhu is not my biological child, she is my dearly beloved daughter. Second brother had always intended to pursue graduate studies, but hesitated due to our family circumstances. However, with the encouragement from eldest brother, he began to dedicate himself fully to his preparations. His intellect had always been sharp, and at that time, the competition for graduate admissions was not as fierce as it is now, making acceptance rates more favorable than for the college entrance exam. He successfully gained admission to Zhejiang University for his graduate studies, incurring no tuition fees. His advisor was quite commendable, allowing him to engage in projects monthly, along with subsidies. Beyond supporting himself, he even had spare funds to purchase birthday gifts for me. During my university years, Uncle, now in his 50s, surprisingly took up electrical work, mastering the skills and joining a renovation company. He worked on a contract basis, earning a substantial sum for each project completed. Uncle was diligent and meticulous, earning over 10,000 yuan a month. Auntie accompanied him on his ventures, sometimes working as a stock clerk in supermarkets or taking jobs in restaurants, remaining industrious. The family's situation steadily improved. Uncle contemplated demolishing our old house to construct a new one. Eldest brother and second brother fervently advised him to purchase a property in the county seat. There will be no one to inhabit the old house in the future. It lacks any potential for value retention. At that time, Uncle, inhaling his cigarette, replied slowly, "I live with your mother. When you return, won't you need a place to call home? No matter how good the city is, your mother and I are rooted in the village." Nowadays, every household in the village has transitioned to high-rise buildings, but we still reside in an old bungalow. Over the years, Uncle and Auntie have undoubtedly endured countless jests from the villagers. Constructing a new building may not only pertain to retirement, but also to pride and self-assurance. During the winter vacation of my sophomore year, eldest brother's girlfriend was set to visit. To prepare for her arrival, eldest brother took me shopping in the county. Unexpectedly, we encountered his ex-girlfriend. Remarkably, it had been precisely 3 years since their breakup. She held a child, approximately a year old, in her arms. As fine snow fell from the sky, the two stood at the entrance of the clothing market, engaging in casual conversation. Are you married now? Soon. My partner will be visiting my home in a few days. Are you still working at the factory? No, I'm now a freelancer, earning money from home. After a moment of silence, the ex-girlfriend asked, Can you afford the bride price? Eldest brother chuckled. My partner says her family doesn't practice that. Her smile appeared rather wan. Well, that's good. I wish you happiness. The cold drove the child to fuss, prompting her to soothe him while eldest brother bid her farewell. As they passed each other, she softly remarked, Luke, hi, I'm sorry. Upon entering the clothing market, the warm air from the heating system enveloped us. Eldest brother's expression turned somber. I felt a twinge of displeasure. Why didn't you tell her you're making money now to show her? It was my own lack of ambition back then. She cannot bear the brunt of it all. Ultimately, it was a matter of fate. During our 2 years together, I never provided her with anything good. She has also suffered. There's no need to further demoralize her, I contemplated. Perhaps it was precisely because eldest brother possessed empathy and understanding that he could craft compelling narratives. Eldest brother's romantic journey had been fraught with challenges. Sister-in-law was an only child and a university student. Initially, her family opposed the relationship. However, after eldest brother purchased a home and a car in the provincial capital with his down payment, her cousin, an editor for a website, became aware of eldest brother's reputation. Our family circumstances had also changed significantly over the years. Uncle had a skill, and our household bore no debts. Second brother was a graduate student, and I was also a respectable university student. We would never become a burden to eldest brother and could support one another. After much toil, eldest brother finally found success at the age of 30. In the village, those who had not pursued higher education had married early. Many of eldest brother's middle school classmates already had children in the 4th grade. On the day of the wedding tea ceremony for sister-in-law, Auntie was in tears. Grasping sister-in-law's hand, Luke has always been understanding and well-behaved, not one to speak much. From now on, it's up to you. Just ensure that you both lead a good life. You need not worry about him and his father. During eldest brother's rebellious phase, Annie would say one thing, and he would retort. Often, when Annie spoke, he would act as if he hadn't heard her. Annie surely forgot that there was a time she wished to take a knife to eldest brother. Second brother, now in his 3rd year of graduate studies, secured a position with a state-owned enterprise in Shanghai, offering a commendable annual salary and the opportunity for residency after fulfilling the employment term. Auntie was exasperated. It's so far away. How can we rely on him in the future? This son has been raised in vain. He has always been mischievous, like a stray cat. And now he has gone off to the ends of the earth. Second brother picked up his phone. Should I call to tell them I'm not going? Auntie snatched the phone from him. What are you thinking? Such a good position and so many people are vying for it. I wish to graduate early and contribute to the family. Yet both eldest brother and second brother encouraged me to pursue graduate studies. A bachelor's degree is no longer considered high. If you wait until after graduation to pursue further studies, it won't be as easy. Your parents have us. Why should you, a daughter, worry? Auntie huffed. You should take the exam first. It's not guaranteed you'll pass. I inquired, what if I do get accepted? If you do, go ahead and study. There's no tuition for graduate school, and your uncle and I are in good health. We can manage ourselves. My birth mother lamented. You still want to pursue graduate studies? By the time you're done, you'll be 26 and then you'll be an old maid. Will you still be able to marry? I think it's best to graduate early and start earning money. I rolled my eyes at her. Whether I study or marry is none of your business. The professional teacher was one second brother helped me find, and I contacted her early on. Ultimately, I achieved my wish and became her student, which led to my meeting Liang Cheng, my senior and later boyfriend. After graduating from graduate school, we both remained in the provincial capital. In truth, there were better opportunities elsewhere, but I did not wish to be too far from uncle and auntie. After 2 years of work, marriage plans came to the forefront. By then, Uncle's back had begun to bend, and auntie had hardly any black hair left. Liang Cheng was aware of my background. Together, we saved 200,000 yuan. I handed my bank card to my aunt. As we agreed, the betrothal gifts are for you and uncle. Here is 200,000. Later, during the renovation of our house, my aunt presented that card, I haven't touched a single penny of this money. You all can use it for now. Your uncle and I can still manage ourselves. If we find ourselves in need later, we will come to you children for help." The Liangcheng family was in decent circumstances, and the wedding was set to take place in a hotel in the provincial capital. My biological mother, perhaps a bit muddled in her old age, unexpectedly approached me, saying, "I am your real mother. When the time comes, your father and I will take the stage, and the son-in-law should serve us tea to acknowledge us." I immediately dismissed her with a curt "get lost." On the day of the ceremony, the officiant instructed Liang Cheng and me to present tea to my uncle and aunt. Liang Cheng respectfully addressed them, "Dad, Mom." I followed suit, calling out, "Dad, Mom, Uncle, and Aunt." No, seizing this opportunity, I decided to change my address. From that moment forth, I referred to them as father and mother. They were both moved to tears, nodding in response. My father held Liang Cheng's hand. "I have only this precious sister. You must promise to treat her well for a lifetime." My mother lowered her head, rummaging through her pocket for a red envelope. Her hair was freshly dyed, but the roots still revealed a circle of white. She handed a thick red envelope to Liang Cheng. "When Lu Zhu was little, she endured countless hardships. Now that you have married her, you must ensure she never suffers again. Do you understand?" Tears welled in my eyes as Liang Cheng and I bowed in gratitude for their nurturing love. There exists a debt of life, and there is also a debt of upbringing. For me, the latter far outweighs the former. In my childhood, I often had nightmares, dreaming of being surrounded by countless cicada shells in a dense forest, unable to escape. Eventually, those nightmares gradually faded away. When did this change begin? Perhaps it was when my uncle brought me snacks for the 100th time. Or perhaps it was during those countless scoldings from my aunt, who nevertheless always left me warm meals. It was their love, the affection for my brothers, that led me out of that 4-year-old forest, granting me an expansive sky. Epilogue. During my university years, some minor events transpired. My second sister is just 2 years my senior. While I was studying, she worked outside. She did not return for my graduation banquet. However, she came back during my freshman winter break. She gifted me a silver necklace to celebrate my admission to university. I accepted her heartfelt gesture. Yet, just a few days later, my biological mother came to visit relatives. She claimed that the necklace was purchased by my second sister for her, and that it had been mistakenly given to me. How much could a silver necklace be worth that she would eagerly demand it back? It was utterly absurd. Naturally, I returned the necklace to her, which only deepened my disdain for her. During my graduate studies, my mother celebrated her 60th birthday. I scrimped and saved while working part-time to buy her a gold necklace. This reflects the difference between daughters and sons. Both of my brothers simply handed over cash, without such considerations. My mother scolded me. "Why waste money on this? That necklace is far too expensive." After lunch, she donned it and paraded around the village. My Lu Zhu. This little girl works tirelessly at part-time jobs just to buy me such an expensive necklace, and I rarely have the opportunity to wear it. Do you think she's wasting money? Do the daughters-in-law in your family buy you gold necklaces? I inadvertently offended a whole host of aunts and cousins. My biological mother later saw the necklace and was consumed by jealousy. She made it clear that she desired one too. I smiled and replied, "Wasn't that year when my second sister bought you a silver necklace?" Her smile faltered, and she awkwardly walked away. All 3 of us siblings have left the village, yet our parents remain there. Aside from needing their help with the children, they prefer to stay in the countryside for extended periods. Thankfully, with the advent of WeChat, we can video call daily. My father struggles with the app, but my mother navigates it with ease. Each day, she shares various dubious expert advice in the family group chat, such as, "There are customs for the New Year's Eve dinner. These 3 dishes should not be served. Parents must be cautious. A single misstep can lead to tragedy. A sip a day prevents children from getting indigestion. If a child cries incessantly, it could be due to this." Once, while my second brother and I were on business trips, we unexpectedly crossed paths in Shenyang. My brother video called my mother. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he asked, "Where's Dad?" The camera shifted, revealing my father engrossed in the evening news, waving at him from a distance. Even in the mountains, he remains concerned about national affairs. My brother then said, "Mom, I ran into Lu Zhu during this trip. We're having dinner together." Instantly, my small father stood up, his face quickly filling the screen. Lu Zhu is there too? Where are you on your business trip? He bombarded us with questions. My brother, exasperated, remarked, Dad, honestly, Lu Zhu is your biological child, and I'm the adopted one, right? My father retorted impatiently, shift aside. You're blocking the camera. My brother nearly lost his temper. His carefree demeanor has resulted in his marriage prospects remaining unresolved. My mother, anxious and fretful, always pushes for marriage during our video calls. At the age of 30, he finally found a partner, an older classmate, 5 years his senior. She is exceptionally capable, earning 3 times as much as he does. My mother disapproved. At her age, it's difficult to have children. Moreover, your second brother acts like a lapdog around her. I wouldn't dare to treat my son like that. My brother shot her a glare. Mind your own business. It took me years to win her over. If you meddle and ruin this, I vow I will never marry. At the wedding, my brother grinned widely.
This is fantastic.
With my poor dental health, I am destined to live off her for life. My sister-in-law is gentle, while my second sister-in-law is decisive. As my mother aged, when family matters arose, it was my second sister-in-law who made the decisions. Gradually, my mother accepted this daughter-in-law. Even boasting in the village, my second daughter-in-law spends money extravagantly. She bought me a foot bath for thousands, a massage chair costing over 10,000. We toil in the fields. We don't need such luxuries. She took me to buy a gold necklace, choosing one thicker than a dog collar. Wearing it would surely break my neck. Even if one earns well, one shouldn't be so wasteful. I always reminded her, if this continues, no one will want to converse with you. She dismissed my concerns. They all do this. Aunt Zhang's daughter-in-law flaunted a gold bracelet to me 800 times. This is the nature of ordinary parents. They don't truly need such things. However, when their children remember them and treat them well, it brings them joy and contentment. This is their source of pride and confidence. Unlike my elder sister, my second sister ultimately did not heed our biological mother's wishes. She eloped with her boyfriend, disappearing for 2 years. When she returned during the new year with a child, our biological mother was distraught, lamenting her disobedience and calling her an ungrateful wretch. But what could be done? The child was born. There was no hope of fetching a good price now. It could only be left unresolved. My biological mother also attempted to extract something from my second sister, but she would not indulge her. Their mother-daughter relationship grew cold and distant. Interestingly, my second sister eventually settled down in the provincial capital, and our interactions increased. On my 30th birthday, my second sister gifted me a gold necklace. This is to make up for you. She had been aware of the silver necklace incident all along. That day, we had quite a few drinks, and with a flushed face and misty eyes, she said, "Let me share something amusing with you. Since you were accepted into university, mother and father have expressed their discontent countless times, lamenting my disobedience and lack of intelligence. Had I known, I would have left first, allowing you to stay." My second sister spoke these words with a lightness that belied the pain she must have felt each time such sentiments were uttered. I grasped her hand and reassured her. Had I remained in the Zhang family, even if I had gained admission to the prestigious No. 1 high school, I would not have been permitted to attend, let alone pursue a university education or graduate studies. Sister, you are thriving now. In truth, you are far more remarkable than I am. Under the oppressive mindset imposed by our biological parents, she did not succumb to the same fate as our elder sister, but instead steadfastly embraced her own identity. She liberated herself from her biological parents, leveraging her middle school education to carve out her own niche in life. Indeed, her journey merits grand recognition. Our biological mother harbored high hopes for Zhang Wei. In her eyes, my admission to university naturally implied that Zhang Wei's success was assured. After all, he was the crown prince, destined to embody the finest qualities the world has to offer. Yet, Zhang Wei failed to gain admission to No. 1 high school. Our biological mother sought to contribute financially, but Zhang Wei's dismal performance rendered him ineligible, even with a fee. Ultimately, he enrolled in a vocational school, where he indulged in a life of leisure. After graduating, he spent more time idling than working, often alternating between 3 days of work and 2 days of idleness. He harbored lofty aspirations, but possessed little skill. Within a year, he found himself idle for over 6 months. Our biological parents were fraught with anxiety. Yet, What could be done? After all, he was the prince of the Zhang family, deserving of support. When I gave birth to Jiao Jiao, Zhang Wei was still unmarried. Our biological mother had introduced him to numerous potential partners, yet none materialized. Perhaps he is destined to remain single for life. Who can say? In any case, it bears no relevance to me. The end of this tale. Thank you for listening. We shall meet again in the next story.